everyone, and welcome back to another The Rat's Nest Book Club. I am the Rat, and this is The Rat's Nest. I'm joined as always by Trevor. Say hi, Trevor.
Hi.
Steel Ball Run. We're back with it.
We sure are. We sure are.
2 days after recording the last episode. We went quick. We went quick.
I read really fast. I read really hard, dude.
That's so true. You did read really hard. I'm so proud of you.
I've never looked at pictures so fast before.
That's so true. We're back. So we read actually a little bit further than we said we were going to last time. We said through 47, and then 47 ended up being an awful stopping place because for some reason Sugar Mountain Spring ended in the middle of 48, which is really weird. It's a really weird place for it to end, but oh well. So we read through 50. We read through 4 arcs, right? We read through Catch the Rainbow. There's Green Tombstone. It's all Catch the Rainbow, basically. Catch the Rainbow is kind of a catch-all for that little section. You had In a Silent Way, right? Kind of a scary monster, but In a Silent Way is the arc. You had Sugar Mountain Spring and Tubular Bells. What do you think overall of this section, Trevor? What do you think?
Overall, I mean, the biggest takeaway, the most important key bit of detail to the plot is that Lucy Steele is canonically attractive. And as someone who is over the age of 18, I do have to say that she is canonically attractive and not just that she is attractive.
Yeah, you have to make that
because she's 14 years old.
Yeah,
she's
and we're
14
not.
Years old.
We're not anymore.
Yeah.
Did we know each other when we were 14? I think so, right?
Yeah, because that would have been freshman year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
14. We're not 14 anymore.
No, we're not.
So, getting into the arcs, right? There was a couple stuff in between. But, so let's just start. Catch the Rainbow. A lot went on to Catch the Rainbow. What do you think, Trevor?
So where exactly does Catch the Rainbow become Catch the Rainbow and not Green Tombstone?
Kind of.
Is it?
It's kind of sprinkled throughout because Catch the Rainbow, you have kind of 3 parts to it. You have Lucy infiltrating the government building to intercept the message from Ringo. You have Lucy versus Blackmore, and you have Johnny and Gyro versus Diego. Those are kind of the 3 sections of Catch the Rainbow. Catch the Rainbow is just kind of the blanket term. Oh, Blackmore is Catch the Rainbow's user, by the way. I don't know if his name is said or if you remember.
Yeah, it said multiple times, Brandon.
Okay,
it is
cool.
Said several times.
Look, I can't, dude. I read it last night, dude. I can't remember stuff that long.
Yeah. Yeah, we get to see funny Mountain Tim shoot a man in the face.
Mm-hmm. And we get to see funny Mountain Tim die.
Yeah. Which is good. It's karma because he started hitting on a married woman. She was
true.
Also underage, but
primarily married
because she was married. Yeah,
that's what was wrong about it.
One of those is significantly more taboo. I'll let you guys decide which one we think it is.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, I guess.
Yeah, and so So I thought it was cool. We get to see some of Lucy Steele doing some stuff. Nice, strong, independent woman. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, Lucy Steele, she's gonna get stand power, dude. She's gonna get stand power, and then she didn't get a stand power, and I was like, oh dang, that kind of sucks. That kind of sucks though.
Yeah, rip. I think Lucy Steele is one of those interesting characters, and we'll talk about it more with Tubular Bells. It's always interesting to have a non-stand user up against a stand user, like for example, Cars against Joseph.
That's so true. That's so true.
But actually, like Hayato against Kira in Bites the Dust. Like it's always interesting to see them have to work around that and to see them come to understand stands. And we really get to see that with Tubular Bells. But it's interesting here where it's we're getting to see Lucy Steele come into more of her own, right? Take some responsibility and try to save her husband. It's her motivation throughout this, right? So I think it's cool. It's cool to see her be able to go around, and she gets helped out by Hot Pants and Mountain Tim, but by Hot Tim and Mountain Pants, but
dude, I love Hot Tim. That's my favorite character right there.
He is pretty hot, isn't he?
That's so true.
But yeah, and so the beginning section I really enjoyed. I thought it was a fun little sneak section. It had some tension. I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but I was like, it has some tension. It's like, like how's she gonna get out of this one?
Yeah, dude, funny man with the mask. Blackmore, he got shot like so many times. He got shot by Mountain Tim. He got shot by Lucy, and then like I think that's it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean he got shot at least 4 times.
At least 4, probably 5, honestly.
Yeah, I mean I feel like Mountain Tim is the kind of guy to unload a full clip on the guy, even though he don't have clips because it's a revolver. But yeah, so like 6 there, and then you get to see a total of 3 shots from Lucy, right? Because I'm right there. I'm right there at the story. Yeah, and then you also get to see the power of the spine of this saint. You know, they're definitely a saint.
Some saint.
Not somebody else. Yeah,
Undescribed saint. Undescribed saint.
Yeah, who was very clearly crucified on a cross. I mean, I wonder who it could be.
I wonder who.
Yeah, because you know, there's only like a handful of saints that were crucified, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it has to be a saint. I mean, Araki would lead us astray.
Yeah,
you know,
it's literally the saint's corpse.
He definitely wouldn't introduce a character in one part and make that character not be the main villain of that arc, even though that character is Japanese and the main villain of that arc uses Japanese characters in the form of sound. No, obviously not what's going to happen. That would never happen.
It would never happen.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So we get to see man get riddled with bullets. I forgot what I was saying, but yeah, he gets shot like 7 times.
So catch the rainbow as a stand.
Yeah. We get to see the power of the spine, like teleport stuff.
Yeah,
which is cool.
It is neat. So that's like the thing of the corpse wants to be put back together. So it was because the other parts were close to they were catching up to each other. They were getting out, and so before we talk about Diego and Gyro and Johnny, catch the rainbow. What do you think?
I think
the guy himself, catch the rainbow, the man.
Okay, yeah. So Blackmore, he's an interesting character. I mean, he's very, very loyal to Valentine, right?
Yeah.
Because he was like, he riddled with bullet holes. He was like, man, I will die 100%. I am guaranteed to die as soon as it stops raining, because my stand power is solely reliant on the rain, and I don't have any control over when it rains. And I was like, wow, this guy kind of sucks, though. This guy
catch the rainbow is a terrifying stand if it's raining.
Exactly. And considering like you know, like a handful of stands can just like hard counter this, like the sun, dude. Man's could do no damage to the sun.
Yeah. But it's a fun little set piece. And you even get with the what was it they got at the end of, they didn't get a corpse part. Why did they just learn they had some idea where the next corpse part was going to be. Why did they have that? Oh, it was the eyes. It was the eyes with Turbo that told them the location of the next corpse part. That was the spine. And so they knew that they were going to go get the spine. So Lucy intercepts Ringo's message which had the location of it. So she grabs the spine. Blackmore follows her. Blackmore gets the spine. And before they're like teleported, a certain nondescript saint shows up behind Blackmore.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more like he's having like psychotic visions because he's having blood loss after being shot multiple times by Mountain Tim.
Well, yeah, by Mountain Tim. He hasn't been fatally wounded yet, though.
Yeah, but he still is gonna have blood loss. Like, I mean, if I shot you in the hand, right? You would go into shock. Yeah, you go into shock like relatively quickly. Well, I mean, I don't know if you would go into shock. I mean, I would probably go into shock.
I mean, I am built different.
Somebody in the hand. I mean, I would be like, holy macaroni! What did I just do?
I wouldn't. Gosh golly! I just get shot so often. You know me.
Exactly. I get that.
We have a funny corpse man shows himself to Blackmore, which is very interesting. It's a very interesting little thing. And then Blackmore's
a crown of thorns.
like a headdress of barbs. It's weird.
Exactly. Yeah. Sorry, a crown of thorns. I don't know where I'm coming.
Yeah, it's like a hat of barbs.
My bad.
But it's interesting because Blackmore's like, well, I can use this spine like myself, and he sees that, and then he gets shot, right, by Lucy.
And
He
he's
gets
like,
absolutely.
he's like, oh gosh, golly, maybe I shouldn't have thought such things.
He's like, I'll never do a thing
truly
again.
is.
So whoever this saint is, he must be pretty
karma.
important.
Exactly. I mean, the entire all of the characters are in all caps, but I feel like he is important enough that if they weren't all in all caps, the H's of the he and the him and that kind of stuff would be capitalized.
Yeah, maybe that's his name.
Like that level of importance. Yeah. His name is he and him at the same time.
That's so true, isn't it? That's 100% what it's going to be. That I feel like that's what it is. Either that or he's Soulja Boy, as we discussed last night.
Exactly. Yeah, he's obviously Soulja Boy.
He's obviously Soulja Boy. So while this is going on, Lucy's little fight with Blackmore. Johnny and Gyro are having a little horse off. They're seeing who can horseplay better with Diego. What do you think of that little section?
True. Yeah, so we get to see Diego with the eye on his face because he's a little baby man.
Yeah.
And we get to see more of Tusk, the little baby Tusk, little baby man,
little stupid little guy.
Yeah, and then we get to see the semi-transformed Dio, where he's got like the weird looking face.
Yeah, where he's like a scaly.
I don't like it when he looks like that.
Yeah, but it's like he's using like his dinosaur power.
Yeah, but I don't like it though. He looks weird. He looks weird, and he looks different. He looks different. He doesn't look like me, and I don't like people who don't look like me.
That is, you know what? I can get behind that. I can get behind that 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a neat little set. Here is where you get to see kind of some of the effects of True Man's World on Gyro, right?
Yeah, and this is like really like you and Kyle were talking about True Man's World, and I was just like, I mean, it was fine, but like I got to this and I was like, oh, okay, I understand why they like it so much. The effect that it has on Gyro, it's like, It's a piece of the puzzle, and it's a very important piece of the puzzle. It is very important, right?
You see, that's the thing. Is sometimes I really like stuff, and like I forget the details as to why I like it. Like, because I was rereading True Man, and like I really enjoyed True Man's World, right? Like I really enjoyed rereading it. But I was like, it's not really as good as I remember. And then I read the rest of it. I was like, okay, yeah, no, I remember now. Yeah, I really do quite like it. But it was just that kind of thing of like, forgetting the details of everything. Meanwhile, there was another arc, Sugar Mountain Spring, where like I knew that I enjoyed the first time. Like I really liked it a lot this time. But yeah, so the little they beat Diego, right?
Yep.
Because Gyro is like I got this. He's like, I'm gonna go my own path, the only path that I can go. Right? Going back with True Man's World. It's some very good character development with him. What you call it? I don't know how you feel about good old Hiro Zeppeli, but I quite like Hiro Zeppeli.
You don't love Hiro Zeppeli.
I love Hiro Zeppeli so much.
I love him too, guys. How'd you guys feel about Fugo's return in chapter 43?
Fugo's return in chapter 43 was really good. Dude, is this a cameo? Dude, is this the Rest Nest cameo?
This is a cameo. Hello, everyone. A short cameo.
A short cameo. You're not here for the episode.
You're not allowed to be here. You're not allowed to be here.
It's a cameo. Okay, I just guys. Look, I'm heading out.
Mad. Please leave.
I'm heading out. No. I was talking with him, and I wanted to clarify some thoughts on Fugo's return to chapter 43. It's all good. You guys get back to flinging steel balls at each other. Love you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
I don't know what he's talking about. Fugo wasn't in a silent way.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good little section, and then Diego's horse got hurt, and so he's out of the fight for a while. We won't see Diego or his powers again for a little bit, will we?
It's good. I don't like a stupid little cringe little dinosaur. Dinosaur power. Yeah, Dinoids.
Yeah.
Dude, that's really offensive, dude. I mean,
yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to fit any dinosaurs out there.
Exactly. Dude. I get Dio is gay, which is confirmed by Gyro.
Yeah,
I mean, not
by
Gyro,
Johnny Joestar.
by Johnny Joestar when he says,
Yeah.
"What a queer."
I mean, he's
in
really
the-
good
in
at
the one
figuring out
panel
stand
in
abilities.
Scary
dude.
Monsters. Yeah. He just has a sense for these kind of things.
He
And
really
it's like,
does.
yeah,
He
yeah.
really does. It's a fun little thing, and then Johnny and Gyro get into a little lovers quarrel at the end there, a little bit. Remember that where they yelled at each other a little bit? Gyro was like, why'd you interfere?
Oh yeah. I remember now.
He was trying to participate in his true man's world, right?
Yeah,
And so-
there's that Catch the Rainbow Part 2 in the middle
Yeah.
of it.
And then they meet up with Lucy, and she gives them the spine, and it goes into Johnny, and that's kind of cute. And then they're like, you need to, I can't remember, is this chapter or next chapter? I guess it doesn't really matter. And they're like talking to Lucy, and she's like, get me out of the country, right? Protect my husband. And they're like, we can't do that. They're like, we got our own stuff to do. They're like, you're the only one that can do that, right? You know, we could get you out of the country, and then you're living in fear of these people finding you for your entire life. Or you could go in, and this is the only way to prevent yourself from being hunted. You have to get the heart from Valentine, right? You have to make it so that they aren't a threat to you anymore, because they're going to come after you, right?
Exactly.
And then Johnny's like, Gyro, like that's really harsh. Like, she's just 14. What are you asking her to do? And then Gyro's like, this is the only way. He's like, I'll give you the eye. So he doesn't have scan anymore. Rip scan. He's like, I'll give you the eye. He said, you go there. If you put this over Valentine's heart, it'll come out. The corpse heart will come out. And then boom, there you go. You got it. And then Johnny's like, Gyro, you idiot. I literally hate you. You should kiss me. And then Lucy is like, okay, I'll do it. And then Johnny's a little bit surprised. And then Gyro's like, maybe I was a little bit harsh. This girl is pretty okay. She's pretty strong. And then that's the end of Catch the Rainbow, the little rainbow arc. Oh yeah, Blackmore dies.
Yeah, yeah. He comes in, and then Gyro Zeppeli says the funny thing. He says Yari Yari Daza.
Yeah, and then they go Oda.
Good grief.
He goes Oda, and then Johnny's nail bullets don't really do anything. Man, I wonder if that's gonna be a plot point soon. And then Hiro Zeppeli, because like he freezes the rain, right? And so Hiro just like puts his arm back, like makes holes in his arm so he can throw his steel ball forward and kill him. I thought that was pretty based, and like evaporated the water. That was pretty based. And then the rain stopped, and then the water stopping his gunshot wounds from dying didn't work anymore, and he died. Rip Blackmore, rip Bozo. You'll be rest in piss.
Yep, and then Johnny gets the spine, and he's like, and then falls off his horse because he doesn't know how to walk. And then they get the next like in total like 6 pieces if you count the ears.
No, they're both ears. Both ears is one of the pieces of the corpse.
Both ears, both legs, and the right arm.
Yeah,
are all in one spot.
Both arms would be too difficult.
Yeah. That would be really hard to do.
That would be really hard to do if you had both arms, you know. And then they're off to the races. They get through the little checkpoint. I can't remember where everyone places. I think are they 3rd and 4th, or is this the one where they're?
Yes, they are 3 and 4 respectively. Gyro and Johnny.
Yeah, okay. And it's Poco Loco and Norisuke that beat them, right?
Yeah, but it's Norisuke first and Poco Loco second. And
so this is where we get introduced to Norisuke Higashikata. And
he get introduced to this Japanese man right at the same time that we start seeing a stand with Japanese characters on it. Dude, no freaking I wonder who the stand user could be.
Dude, I wonder who they could be.
User could be.
It's Soundman, idiot. Get Soundmanded.
Exactly. Dude, when I got to that, I was like, what? Why is Sandman's stand have Japanese characters on it? Are those not Japanese? I mean, I was pretty sure that in the one when he first sees his stand, right? He punches the beehive. It has the translation. It's like, oh yeah, that this the characters on this. It says no. The Japanese characters here are the word stab, is what it says. And Brandon, if you weren't a little stinky little nene baby, I would ask you to throw a picture of this page on screen.
Uh-huh.
But I know I don't want to force you to actually like edit stuff more than you
I know
have
that
to.
would suck. That would suck if I had to
So,
actually
yeah.
edit videos.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not going to ask you to do that. I mean, if you want to, go ahead. But
Yeah.
It's kind of cringe that these are Japanese characters. Why are they Japanese characters, right?
I wonder why. I wonder what could possibly cause this to be Japanese characters.
No, like in universe, it doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, funny out of reason explanation. Araki's Japanese. He's going to write them with Japanese characters because also the audience is Japanese, right? He's writing this for the Japanese audience.
I am not Japanese. I would
Trevor,
never
I
be
have terrible
Japanese,
news
dude.
for you.
I would never be Japanese.
I have terrible news for you, Trevor.
Brandon, don't say that. People are gonna think I'm like half Japanese or something. That's a wait far worse than
Aren't
being
you?
fully Japanese.
We've actually
No.
never met in person, everyone. Trevor and I have
You've met both of my parents.
We've never met in person.
It's not true.
Trevor and I
It's
have never
not
met in
true.
person.
That's not true.
That's so true. That is so true. Yeah, so funny. So in a silent way. Starts off, they're like, yada yada at a barn. What do you think overall in a silent way?
Overall, interesting stand. Kind of seems really similar to something that we might have seen in like part 4 or something like that.
I know
don't know,
Heaven's
don't quote
Door
me
is
on
really
it.
similar to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like Echo's Act 2, but like a lot better. Because it's a pretty good. It's just that Tusk Act 2 is pretty darn good as well.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it basically kills Gyro, right? It's only because Hot Pants is there. Because Hot Pants is there to save them. But yeah, funny Sound Man. So the reason for that, right? You're like, oh, Sound Man, like that's stupid. Like everyone still calls him Sandman, even though his name is Sound Man. What it is
That's good.
In Japanese, Sandman is pronounced Sandomen. Soundman is pronounced Sandomen. It's like literally the exact same pronunciation. But like it is written with like an extra stroke in like one of the characters.
Yeah. Luckily, I mean the translation, this translation like explained it like in a very similar way. It was like, oh yeah, you've got Sandman. That was actually a bunch of white people being stupid and not knowing the difference between the word sound and sand. Like,
well, I mean that's the
absolute
explanation.
morons.
Like that's just what he says.
Yeah,
Because-
yeah. But like it works well enough because sound and sand. You know, if I saw a guy named Soundman, I would be like, I don't think that's his actual name. That
No, I
doesn't
think it's
make any
Sandman.
sense.
Sandman is a normal name.
Exactly.
Yeah, so in this arc, there's a couple of things that happen. Right? Originally, they're at a barn, and funny Dot Hand comes up, and he's dead. Right? He dies. Because stuff is imbued with the sound cut. And the entire barn is set up like that, and then it's like falling on them. They're trying to do stuff. Johnny's trying to dig himself a hole, because he can't move because he's crippled, right? Lol. And he's trying to dig himself a hole with his nail bullets, but it's not working. But Gyro is able to get enough spin with like the fragments of his steel balls that were destroyed to bury Johnny, right? And so they go out. They're going towards the Mississippi, right? And they get there, and this is where we get a little bit of Johnny Joestar's backstory. What do you think of it, Trevor?
Yeah, dude, we get to see our boy Nathaniel, right? That's his name. Is it Nathan or Nathaniel? Nicholas, same thing. I've heard it both ways. I've heard it both ways.
Yes, Nicholas and Nathaniel. It's basically the same name.
Yeah, and then we get to see his large dog, Danny. I mean, his small mouse, Danny.
Yeah.
Sorry, deja vu. And
it's
then
crazy that they have the same name. What a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence.
Yeah, and then we get introduced to like how Johnny knows so much about Dio, right?
Yeah, because they used to live together. Which is, it's a nice little thing where, they don't have quite the relationship that Jonathan and Dio had in part 1. But it is cool to see that Johnny and Diego still had a lot of time together. Right?
Yeah.
Because Dio kind of became George. So his father's name is George Joestar, the same as in Phantom Blood.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't think it's said here, but his name is, that's not a spoiler. It's just, that's his name. And so we get to see, one, George tells him to drown the rat, which is pretty funny. Two, George is like, not terribly great father, but he's not a bad father. At least Johnny has Nicholas. And then Johnny doesn't have Nicholas anymore.
I think telling your son to drown his pet rat is kind of mean. Like, Brandon, how would you feel if your father told you to drown your pet rat?
I'd be like, well, my pet rat's name is Jonathan, and he's a fish, so I don't know how I can drown him. So
that's so true. I didn't think about that. I should have thought about that.
Jonathan is my little pet rat, isn't he?
How is Jonathan doing? Can you give me a Jonathan check?
Quick Jonathan check.
Yeah.
He is eating rocks right now.
That's so cool.
He's doing
Dude,
so
I love
great.
It when Jonathan eats rocks. It's
He's
so
doing
adorable.
so great, like you would not believe. But yeah,
All
and so
right,
you know, maybe he doesn't have the best relationship with his father, but at least Johnny has his older brother Nicholas. And then Johnny doesn't have his older brother Nicholas.
Yeah. Oh, in the meantime, we get the mommy I fruit up.
Mommy
page.
threw up a little picture of man.
Yeah, that one you have to.
Yeah, I do. I do have to put that
one.
one. That's so true. I pulled out my phone to make the note.
Yeah. But and then we get to see Nicholas got scared. His horse got scared by a small white mouse, even though
By
it's
a
been
large
like several
dog.
years. Yeah, my bad. By a large dog, even though it's been several years, and more than likely is a completely different large dog. Johnny was like, "Oh my gosh, it's all my fault." Which, he suffers from hero syndrome. Everything's always his fault.
He does suffer from hero syndrome. Being around Hero that much really
Yeah.
does that to a person. But yeah, and so he becomes a bit of a genius horse racer, right? In the place of his brother, right? Kind of, to honor him in a way.
Exactly.
Right. And one time his boots aren't doing too great, and he goes and he tries to take his brother's boots, and like his dad's like, no, and then they like have a little tussle, and then his dad falls into a glass thing. And he's like, God, you took the wrong son. And Johnny's just like, bruh. Dude, he literally goes like that, dude. He literally goes like that. And then so George kicks him out of the house. And then Diego was also there. Not like in the room where it happened. But he was... Diego had been around, right?
Yeah.
And so with this now, we can see what led up to Johnny being the person he was in his first flashback where he got shot, right? And so he's a bit more understanding, a bit more sympathetic, because his brother died, and then his father killed him, and then his large dog died. Getting to see more of Johnny, I think is always
exactly.
It helps you to understand him more, and it also leads into the thing where he's like, this is my fate. He's like, I caused my brother's death. He said, fate always catches up with me. He said, now this is fate catching up with me again. My nail bullets aren't doing anything. And that's when Gyro Zeppeli breaks out. Hey, Johnny, have you ever heard of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5 Golden Ratio?
That's so true. That's exactly what it's
That
called,
is exactly
dude.
what he says.
I love Golden Ratio.
It's literally my second favorite part.
Yeah, dude. My favorite stand, GRR.
That's so true. Golden Ratio Revolution.
Exactly.
But yeah, and so then we get the little lesson on the Golden Ratio, which I think is quite cool. Basically, Hero's like, look, artists have always done stuff in this Golden Ratio, right? Even this belt buckle. I can form my hand in this Golden Ratio. If you look at it, you get the infinite spiral. If you try to imitate that, your spins will be stronger, right? Just so I don't know. I mean, you probably didn't, but I want to go ahead and clear up. Just like imitating the infinite spiral of the Golden Ratio, that does not produce infinite spin. It just it gets you like imitating it. It gets a stronger spin, right?
Yeah.
And so Johnny and Gyro, they go through this whole thing, right? And Gyro's like, you can say I can't do this 4 times, and I'll give you my belt buckle. Right, it's in the shape of the Golden Ratio. But Gyro gets hurt, yada yada, and Johnny's like, I can't do it. He's like, well, wait, there has to have been a reference for this, right? Where did all these great artists of of time get this ratio from? And then Johnny looks down at Gyro and he sees it. And he looks around everywhere in nature and he keeps seeing it. He keeps seeing the golden ratio. That is, I tell you, I don't know how you felt. I loved that little sequence of panels. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. He's seeing it, right?
So I actually know the math behind the golden ratio.
Yeah.
So the golden ratio is actually not like a singular thing. It's actually in a infinite like series of things. And it's
is it like related to the Fibonacci sequence or that a different thing?
The golden ratio is, but there's this thing. It's called the metallic mean, and what the metallic mean is it is a it's a type of equation, right? And the for any metallic mean, it's the ratio is equal to the nth ratio is equal to n plus the square root of n squared plus 4 all over 2. And so that will give you, the like every single metallic mean. The golden ratio is for n equals 1, so 1 plus the square root of 5 over 2. Which is roughly 1.618.
Yeah.
But you also have, for example, the aluminum ratio, which is 6 plus the square root of 40 over 2, or in other words, 6.162. And the same like general like thing applies. Like you have the rectangle, you make a square, you make n squares, and then like the remaining rectangle is the same, proportions. So like the golden ratio in reality doesn't really have any special properties. Like it's found in nature just as often as like all of these other ratios are found in nature, which is, in reality most of the time it's not actually the golden ratio because you have literally infinite of these.
Yeah.
My personally favorite metallic mean. And if you don't believe me, you can just go to the Wikipedia page for the metallic mean, which I have pulled up right now, which is 100% accurate. By the way, it is
I believe you.
Wikipedia,
I believe
but
you.
I mean this is accurate. My favorite metallic mean is the platinum ratio, right? And it is the n equals 0, and it's 0 plus the square root of 4 over 2, or 1. The ratio is 1. It's my favorite spiral circle.
Mayo.
But yeah, I mean, you also have like other things. Like I was just like I got into a rabbit hole, right? There's also a similar thing. It's called the plastic number, and this was a coin termed a term. Sorry, a
coin term. A
term coined. Back before like plastic meant like like the plastic like
like plastic the material.
It was not the material. It was plastic back when like plastic was like this theoretical perfect substance that could do literally anything.
Yeah.
Like a mythical substance, and it has very similar properties to the golden ratio too. So I mean, like if you care about that kind of stuff, you probably already know about it. But like if not, and you're like, this golden ratio thing is kind of cool, and you're like, I want to learn more about random math stuff. I mean, yeah, you can just search up the plastic number.
Yeah, I can't believe Araki wrote all of that. Just for Steel Ball Run.
Exactly. But yeah, so golden ratio, not actually how it works. Nothing really special about the golden ratio. It has nothing to do with beauty. It's just, I mean, like the thing that you see it so often in art and architecture is because everyone says that it has stuff to do with beauty. I mean, if in an alternate reality, everybody is talking about the silver ratio, and the Parthenon is made out of the silver ratio instead.
Yeah, but on the other hand, Trevor, if you spin stuff at the golden ratio, you get close to infinity.
Yeah,
and so
but,
it makes
like,
the spin stronger. So that's what's special about the golden
all
ratio.
of-
You see,
no, all of them do that. All of them do that. Brandon.
no,
All
but
of
like
them
we
do
don't.
that.
So, I mean, if all of them did that, then why don't they use any of the other ones? They only use the golden. So
Well, I mean,
it's a like
okay,
nice
dude,
point, but
the golden ratio, it's just a logarithmic spiral, dude. That's all it is. It's a logarithmic spiral.
yeah, but it goes.
It's just
You
a
get a
spiral.
better spin if you do it. And then Johnny does that, and then he gets Tuskak 2, which is a cool little surfer dude on a little surfer thing, and he's a funky little robot guy, and then he shoots bullets, and then the spin keeps them spinning, and so they can move, and they move towards their intended target, which he uses it on little creatures because you have scary monsters creating dinosaurs that are carrying the sounds, which is kind of terrifying, right? It's a pretty fun use to see these little grass demons walking towards you with they touch you, you're circumcised now, sucks to suck, idiot. That's
no, not my foreskin. Give it back.
gonna have, dude. Diego's totally the type of dude to circumcise someone.
I mean,
and so basically
know,
the bullet
maybe.
holes will move towards their intended target, and eventually this catches up to Sandman, and he's kind of wounded, right? But he's not dead. And Johnny's like, look, you can go. He's like, I don't want to have to do this. Right? You can go, right? But Sandman's like, no, I do have to do this. He's like, are you saying that your bullets are faster than mine in a silent way? And Johnny's like, I ain't saying you're a truther. And then he kills him.
exactly.
That's the exact quote. Yeah, in a silent way. It's pretty fun, and Sandman dies. Sandman his use is very interesting. He's the first character.
And then Hot Pants takes all the parts except for a vertebrae.
Yeah, to leave Johnny.
Which is really cool because it means she could have just left 2 vertebrae and given one to Gyro so he wouldn't die so quickly. But Hot
she healed him.
Pants
She healed him with Cream Starter. So
yeah, but like having stand abilities and corpse parts makes you live longer and not take as much damage from like random things that are stand related too.
Look, Trevor,
And
I don't know where you've been around.
Ahead.
Anyone who has come into contact with these corpse parts has not had the easiest time continuing to live. So far.
I mean, Gyro has been fine. I mean, he
Except
was
for like the
more
15
fine
times
when
he
he had
almost
the
died.
scan. He would he would like okay dude if you keep reading on, right, if you keep reading on, you read the funny next one, the
Sugar Mountain Spring.
Sugar Mountain Spring, you would see like Johnny was mostly fine, Gyro wasn't, and the only difference is that one of them had a corpse part.
Yeah. Johnny had a couple. He had the right
He had a
arm and
vertebrae.
the ears.
No, he didn't actually have this though. They didn't apply to him.
Well, no, because he did have them and then he didn't, idiot.
No, they didn't apply to him.
Sugar
They
Mountain
weren't
Spring.
real.
What'd you think overall?
Sugar Mountain Spring was dope. I was like, this is cool.
I really like Sugar Mountain Spring. I really like it. So I recently revised after reading Sugar Mountain Spring. I was like, this might be top 5 for me in all of JoJo's. It's like I really like Sugar Mountain Spring. So I revised it. Sugar Mountain Spring is number 6. I can tell you my top 5 real quick.
Okay.
So number 1, this is I'm not saying these are the 5 best written. That's a clarification for anyone listening. I'm not saying that these are the best 5. These are, in my opinion, my favorite fights, arcs, whatever. 1, JoJo versus Dio. That's my favorite. I don't think anything's ever going to beat it. 2 is, you don't know it yet, High Voltage. 3 is Risotto versus Doppio from Part 5. I love that fight so much, Metallica.
The anime or the manga?
The light novel.
I
4
don't believe you.
is funny. It's an arc called Civil War, and we'll get to it. And 5 is Cream. Cream is probably Cream's probably the most controversial of my top 5, but I really like it. And Sugar Mountain Spring is 6.
The Civil War already happened though.
Yes, I loved that movie, bro. Go Cap.
Yeah, dude. Go Cap.
Yeah, that's my top 5. But yeah, so Sugar Mountain Spring, I really like Sugar Mountain Spring. So basically, Johnny and Gyro find this tree. It's a devil's palm. They find out, whatever you throw into the lake, into the little pond, there's a lady there, a little lady. If you throw something in, like say a steel ball, right? She will say, "Did you drop this?" and then hold out something very valuable, basically like an upgraded version of whatever you dropped. So like in the steel ball's case, gold and a diamond. Or did you drop this? And she'll hold out the item that you dropped. And then if you choose the item that like the more valuable item, you're dead. If you choose the item that, if you're honest, then sweet, cool, I'll give you both. And so they do that a couple, and they're like, and then Gyro's like, okay, watch this. Cuts off a rabbit's ears, throws them in. She's like, "Would you like these? Or did you drop these in?" and pulls out the corpse ears. And that was, I really like, I was like, that's
that
so,
was cool.
I was like,
that's
that's
cool.
such a cool way to like get the corpse parts like that. And then later they do that with the right arm as well. They're both there. I was like, man, that's really cool. And then they get them. But then the caveat is, right, all of this, you have to use up all the items you get before sunset. And so this leads into a lot of shenanigans, right? Johnny and Gyro buy a house, and then they end up with a lot more money, and then they try to gamble. And then the gambling, the dealer rigs it. And so like they're like, it's not 50-50. And so because that they saw that, I don't think it was the dealer rigging it that caused them to turn into a tree. I think it was Gyro realizing it. It was Gyro realizing that the dealer rigged it, and then he's like, "Oh, it's not 50-50." And then they were like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah.
And so then Johnny uses Act 2 to do a little flatten the little thing, and then they win even more money. So they have $60 million now, right, with everything. And then they're in the casino, and then here comes Tattoo U, and its user, the 11 Men. That's the name of Tattoo U's user, the 11 Men. But
yeah, even though they were at one point in 12.
Yeah, that's the funny is there were once 12 men. But so Tattoo U is, I think it's a fun little set piece. It's specifically, it's an action set piece in the middle of kind of a more slow burn of an arc. Like not like in a bad way, of course, but it's like here's the action, right? Here's a little action set piece. I think it's a fun little way that they do it. Fun little action set piece, and then they use up the 60 million, getting the rest of the people in the casino to, help them kill the 11 men. Because Johnny's out of nail bullets, yada yada, sneaking up on him. Gyro's bleeding out. So then they're going out of the casino. They're like, "Man, Gyro, that sure was a bizarre adventure." And then Gyro's turned into a tree. L sucks to suck, right?
Yeah.
And then Johnny's like, oh, he realizes, he's like, we didn't use up everything. He says, we still have the corpse parts. And so Johnny has to struggle then. He's like, if I don't give up the corpse part, Gyro's dead, right? He enters the long line of, if you don't use up the items by midnight, you're trapped inside the tree waiting to be the next guardian, right? And the previous guardian is released. It's like, if I don't give up these corpse parts, Gyro dies. But my only purpose for living right now is collecting these corpse parts. I can't remember the exact words that he said, but he was like, it was like I was asleep before the race. He said, and now that I'm here, now that I'm doing this, he's like, this is my purpose. He said, I have to do this no matter what. And so coming to terms with that, you see the guardian lady, the little guardian girl. She sees Gyro up here in the tree, and she's like, well, I wonder how many years it'll be until... She said, well, it'll be good to see Mama and Papa. I wonder whenever they'll be freed from their duty as guardians. And then you see her parents, and they're like, it's good to see you. And you I think they say, like, you won't have to wait or something. They're like, he's already going back. His fruit's getting smaller. Everyone's getting freed from the guardian tree. Because you cut back to Johnny, and he's given both ears and the right arm to the last remaining member of the 11 men for a bottle of wine. And, oh, dude, I love the end of Sugar Mountain Springs so much. Because, like, it lets you, it's such a good character moment for Johnny, you know? Where it's just like he gave up basically his purpose for living to save Gyro. And himself, but,
Yeah.
He's like, And so Gyro comes back. And then they're left there. They're sitting there. They drink the wine, and they're like, to the rest of the corpse parts.
Oh,
And-
dude, we forgot to mention something.
What?
Gyro had sex.
He did.
He did.
So-
Yep.
Gyro had
That
sex with
already
a married woman.
Yep.
Sucks to suck, right?
Yep. It's okay though. He didn't realize that she was married at the time, so it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Really, she's completely and entirely at fault.
Yeah, it's her
Um,
fault.
Yeah.
That's not even
um,
ironic. It is.
Yeah.
That's just
completely and
objectively
entirely.
true. But yeah, so we also get a little scene with Gyro, where it's him and his father, and they're operating on a patient. And they're like, we can either save the child, or we can save the mother. We can't save both. And Gyro's like, well, why can't we try? And his father was like, we could, and by some miracle, maybe it would work. He said, but we can't endanger our patients like this. And Gyro's like, can't we just ask the dad which to choose? And his father goes, that's such an, you shouldn't give that choice to him, right? It's better that he doesn't know. He said, because what would he choose, right? He said, we need to choose right here and now. And it's the analogy of the ball going up on the net. Which side is it going to fall, right? And Gyro brings that back up, and he's like, let's drink this, right? The bottle of wine that they got, to the race and to the next part. And they drink it, and that's Sugar Mountain Spring. I love Sugar Mountain Spring.
Yeah. It's a good one. I enjoyed it.
It's a very good one. And then we get Tubular Bells. What do you think overall of Tubular Bells, Trevor?
Tubular Bells, dude. I really enjoyed the one scene that really was the nail in the coffin of whether or not Lucy Steele was hot, and it 100% confirmed that she is canonically very attractive.
Yeah.
And that was when Scarlett Valentine, the first lady, asked Lucy Steele, this 14-year-old girl, to sit on her face.
That's so based. Average politician. Am I right?
Average politician.
Average
True.
politician.
That's so true.
The Tubular Bells. It's a fun stand. Mike O, a funny guy, Mike O, his stand. He takes nails, he blows them up into little balloon dogs, and they can track by scent. Now, what Lucy Steele is doing is she's going to go steal the heart from Hilarious February, right? The way that she decides to go in is she gets a vision from the eye, which she doesn't like incorporate the eye into herself. That's why she never gains a stand from it, right? If she had, she would likely gain a stand from it, but she didn't. She was just holding on to it, right? But
she's not worthy of a stand.
Yeah, that's so true.
She
She'd
physically can't have a stand.
She'd die. But she gets a vision from it, and so she checks out a couple of books with some interesting imagery. She goes and she meets the first lady.
There are like tits, like a full pair of tits, like just like out in the open.
I know that Sherlock Holmes book was crazy, wasn't it?
No, the other one.
Oh, part 7. Yeah, part 7 was pretty crazy.
yeah. See, part 7, it's so bizarre. Bizarre.
You could say that. You could say that even. But we get funny man. So Lucy seduces the president's wife because Scarlett Valentine, this woman likes other women. You could say.
Yeah.
You could say.
Yeah, as she says, she even says it. She says this woman then looks at the eye and says likes other women.
That's so true.
What a queer.
As Johnny would say.
As Johnny would say. I would never say that.
As Gyro would say.
Cover. And then we get the funny cover.
Get the funny cover. The funny cover, dude. Araki is so. He drew that. He did in fact draw that.
He's so based and rippled. You have that. This is another thing that you have to throw up in the video.
Can I?
Yeah. Everything's covered.
Get it age restricted.
I mean, I don't. Okay, add a couple like thick black bars.
Yeah. I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
We're raw dogging it.
All right. Yeah.
That's the best way. That's the best way to word that. You know the panel where Gyro was talking. This is a bit of a side tangent. You know the panel back in A Silent Way when Gyro was talking about like the artists making stuff in the golden ratio, and you had like the statue that was topless.
Yeah.
Popular JoJo YouTuber Hamon Beat recently got a strike on his channel for nudity because he put that panel in. And then he appealed it, and they were like, "Yeah, that was our bad." He just said LeMayo. Yeah, so I'll throw it up there. Yeah, so Lucy gets in, yada yada. She knocks the Scarlet out with some stuff. Beforehand, she meets Hot Pants, right? Because Hot Pants is here. And we got to see that Hot Pants back during In a Silent Way had a little bag with a little insignia of a little king that Gyro kind of knew. And so it's like, well, what's the deal with this airline food? Am I right? And so Hot Pants meets with Lucy.
That's exactly what's said verbatim.
I can't believe they put Jerry Seinfeld in this. But we get Hot Pants, and she's like, okay, I'm going to use it's called like meat face or something. I can't remember. I'm just going to say cream starter. Cream starter as a stand is more than this. I'm just going to say cream starter. I can use my stand to get you a new face, right? It'll if you touch someone, it'll turn into them, right? It'll cover their face, match their hair, whatever. It'll even copy their scent, right? You do this, right? Yada yada. So Lucy goes in, knocks out Scarlet, turns into Scarlet, then goes into the president's bedchambers, knocks him out, steals his heart. His mama's dead, shoes raggedy. Then she leaves. But then, there's dogs here. There's the dogs. And so she's in the room. She's getting attacked by the dogs. The president's knocked out. In comes Scarlet. And she's like, oh, Lucy, that's you, in it? And then she pulls out a gun and starts shooting Lucy, which is pretty base. Average politician, am I right?
Average politician.
Average politician.
I mean, like, if I was a politician, I would sleep with an underage girl, or at least ask an underage girl to sit on my face and then proceed to shoot her several times.
That's
true, what I would do if I was I'm not a politician. I'm not
in
a politician,
Minecraft.
So you don't have to worry.
In
In Minecraft. Dude, it's for a school project, I swear.
That's so true. But then Lucy and Scarlet kind of get into a little wrestle tussle. The dogs are coming. Lucy puts cream starter onto Scarlet's face with copying Lucy's face and her scent, so the dogs go in and kill Scarlet. and then that's all the dogs that were there. So they're not any more dogs going after Lucy because they killed Scarlet, right? All the dogs went into her, pierced her skull. She's dead. She's very well and dead. Here comes Hot Pants out of the drain because Mike O is on their tail because he's like, my dogs are popping, right?
Exactly.
Me when you guys upload a really good video to Goobers and Screens, man, my dogs are popping right now.
That's so true. That's so true.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so Hot Pants goes, fights Mike O, who is using tubular bells to turn like the window sheets into dogs or like little balloon animals that track after Hot Pants and cut her hands off. Which, like, for the little part it plays, tubular bells can be pretty cool. It's one of the lamer stands in Steel Ball Run, I think, but it's pretty cool.
It's a lame stand because it's only used in like a fight, right? I mean, we don't get to see it to its full. I mean, by a fight, I mean like 2 short segments, right?
Yeah, it's like in 2 chapters.
If this was,
I think,
if this was in the manga, right? I mean, not in the manga. If this was in the anime, right? He would have a solid minute and a half of screen time.
Yeah, Maiko is pretty forgettable. Like, I honestly, I completely forgot who the user of tubular bells was. Like, I could picture him, but I didn't remember his name. But then I read Maiko. I was like, oh yeah, that is his name, isn't it? It's also interesting because it's a stand that's, I mean, yes, Hot Pants defeats it, but it's outwitted by a non-stand user. I think that's cool. I think that's cool.
It's like a fairly powerful stand too. I mean, up against like most stand users, this did like it would do a lot of damage. But like, unfortunately, Hot Pants is a hard counter. Yeah, you know,
Hot Pants is a pretty hard counter.
Yeah, you cut off her hand, and then
sucks to
she's
suck,
just like
bozo.
she's just like yeah, you thought it's like my hand just does that.
Like, yeah, I can do that too, lol.
It's like my hand.
You're not special.
Basically JFK's head that one time. It just does that.
And then so the way he's defeated is interesting in my opinion. Where you get to see she uses the same thing that she used for like Lucy, but it has the effect of whenever he goes to blow up the nails, it blows up like his neck and head instead. And that's like, oh. You want to talk about that? That's a pretty hard counter. That's a pretty hard counter to it. And so he's like, I'm still going to try. He still tries and then blows up and he's dead. Right? Rip tubular bells. So Lucy has just infiltrated the president's home, stolen very priceless artifacts from him of the corpse of some undisclosed saint, killed his wife, killed his little man friend, whatever, and now Lucy has to impersonate Scarlet Valentine using Hot Pants' cream starter. Hot Pants escapes with the corpse of the real Scarlet and most of the corpse parts except for the spine and the arm. Is that right?
No. She didn't have the spine with her when she came in.
That's true. That's true. So it was just the arm that was left.
Yeah, she had to leave the arm.
Yeah. Well, so Maiko's dead. Lucy is Scarlet now, and that's where we left off. That was the end of Tubular Bells.
That is where we left off, isn't it? Yeah.
So overall, what do you think of this little section, Trevor? These 4 arcs. It's the most arcs we'll have in an episode is 4.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed them. I like getting to see battles that don't necessarily have anything to do with our main characters.
Yeah, I think that's a testament kind of to the writing of characters like Lucy Steele and Hot Pants. That like they can carry a fight on their own. It's all. I mean, I think Lucy Steele is really coming into her own as a character now. We're kind of at the beginning. It's like, you know, what you call it, but like now she's a proper protagonist now. I enjoy getting to see her.
We've got all the mystery around Hot Pants. Like, why does she have ties to the Vatican, and why is she a she?
Yeah, that's so true. Why is she a she? But yeah, so left off, our heroes were at a not great point, and then you have Lucy Steele infiltrating the president's home, and now she's his wife. So that's where we're left off here. Next time we'll be reading not very much. We're only reading 2 arcs next time. It is chapters 51 through 59. I won't say the names of the arcs, but I mean you'll get there.
Well, I mean the first one is Wrecking Ball.
It is Wrecking Ball.
Yeah,
by Miley Cyrus. That's not the reference. That's not the reference at all.
It's not the reference. I'm going to imagine that's the reference the entire time because I find that significantly funny.
That's exactly what I did. Wrecking Ball, I think it's also, you know, if I had to guess, a classic rock song. I've listened to it before, but I can't remember. It'll be the shortest chapter-wise. We're reading, 9 chapters? 51 through 59. And so there's some, these are 2 pretty good arcs I enjoy a little bit. And so, any last words, Trevor? Any final thoughts?
No. I mean, I feel like we covered everything.
Yeah. Well, if you're this far in the video, obviously there's some you like, so make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling us which one of these 4 was your favorite and whether Trevor and I am hotter in real life. And we will see you next time. I don't know when this is going up, so I can't tell you what video is coming next. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I forgot that I had to say it, too. I'm sorry. We had a discussion about this like 2 days ago. I apologize.